Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Why black relationship discussions tend to be unproductive, right? And when I talk about black relationship discussions, I'm not even just talking about discussions on YouTube or any other social media. For all intents and purposes, that's just people venting and stuff. I'm talking about serious discussions. You know, you might have a panel of writers, therapists, psychologists, academic types, professors, or just something in a public venue, right? Like have an audience, whatever, conferences, and these discussions tend to be unproductive. And the reason why, well, one, it's rare a lot of these conferences discuss all aspects of black relationships. It usually is like some superficial stuff. It's like, oh, there's not enough educated black men, right? Or, in the very, very few where men are expressing their opinion, they're saying, well, these women, they want to be too independent or something. And I do mean very, very few where men are expressing their opinion, right? And that's actually a problem too, because many of the discussions tend to be woman-centric in the sense that it's about the woman's needs. I can't even think of an official conference or something that really had to do with empowering the men. It's usually about the women. It's like, oh, what can we do about the shortage of good men or educated men, Not saying like, well, hold up, maybe some of these men have some issues too finding some women, right? So that's an issue right there. A big issue though, a big issue in these discussions is we don't like really differentiate between sexual needs of a relationship and social needs. In fact, most of these discussions focus on the social needs. When you talk about things like economics, finances, education levels, even if you throw in class, which is rarely discussed too, those are more social things. Those are more social things, and they need to be discussed. But then we're not discussing the sexual aspect of it, right? We're not discussing the sexual aspect. Like when women say there's a shortage of good men, what they really mean, despite what men want to think, there's a shortage of men they find sexually attractive. Notice I say sexually attractive, right? Because if you actually do a study, and I've actually done this on more of an academic level. I've actually participated in passing out surveys and interpreting the results. Like one such survey I helped work on was actually advertised in Essence magazine, right? And this was a long time ago, right? So we're seeing all this, and a lot of times the women they aren't saying, well, no, actually they are saying, but they'll say it anonymously. They looking for certain physical attributes in a man. But when we get these public conversations, we're not talking about that. I mean, and I've actually co-sponsored seminars where we were specifically talking about sexuality, and still the conversation was still, shall we say, muted. Still focused more on the social side. But see, that's unproductive because we're not looking at the whole picture. Because once again, with that whole shortage of good men thing, it's really a shortage of men, women, black women in particular, find physically attractive. And one of the reasons, and this gets into some other stuff which is discussed in other venues, but it's a result of social perceptions, media perceptions, even colorism and featureism. Oh yeah, that thing goes both ways, right? And not to let the guys off the hook. Either. Like when the rare times there is some discussion, and like I said, it's rare that it's like in a public venue, usually and online and stuff. A lot of times, that big argument, oh, well, all these sisters just going for thugs and stuff, right? Is it all the sisters, or are we going to have an honest conversation and just say, we collectively just focus on the finest women? because that's all it is. That's all it is. Overwhelming majority of women ain't chasing some thug. But the perception is the very attractive ones are. All right? But that's discussed, but that's not looking at it, the overall picture. Or we're not putting the word attractive in there. Usually people, when they say it, they say all. And that's not a productive discussion. We have to break things down. All right? And see, because we don't want to discuss everything, we don't really get anything done. I remember this might have been the last time I sat on a relationship panel a few years ago, the last time. And I made it the last time because the woman who, put together the event, she actually offered me a chance to sit on another panel. And I was just like, nah. We'll say, what y'all talking about? Nah, I don't feel like being bothered. Well, she was nice. I ain't say being bothered. I just say, nah, I won't be available for that. That was nice. All right. But the issue was at this particular, last panel I was on, it was a public venue, had people in there, they paid money. Might be a few pictures of me signing books at it floating around, right? We were given a choice by the host of the show, who was it was a gentleman. He was a radio host of a major station in the D.C. area, right? And he said we had two parts to this discussion. We had the first part, and then, we broke, took a break, stretched our legs. And then, for the second, we said, well, do y'all want to discuss romance or y'all want to discuss sex? Rom said sex. They were like, nah, let's discuss romance. And I was like, well, hold up. We have to discuss the sex part. Because, first of all, any relationship discussion that doesn't discuss sexual preferences by men and women, that's not a good thing because that's affecting it. Let's go back to that whole shortage of good men thing. That's really a shortage of sexually desirable men. Now people are trying to throw you off, say, well, there ain't enough men making money and all this stuff. That's some bull. That's some bull, especially when you have plenty of brothers who are considered sexually desirable, getting plenty of women, having virtual harems and stuff. So apparently that's, the money thing ain't that big a deal. I mean, it belongs in the conversation. It belongs in the discussion, but for the ladies listening, let's be real. Let's be real. Y'all know y'all meet plenty of educated, good type of guys, but they don't make your vagina tingle. And for the guys, hey, shoot, like I said, the big thing is always that thug thing, but let's be real. There's some woman, she might be more of a plain Jane, might be feeling you and stuff, but you checking out that IG type of model, which is an issue, and can't say we're not as men. We can't say as men, we cannot say we're not doing it. Shoot, why you think these women out here, these sisters on IG or social media and stuff, be charging money just to show their pictures or something? Just to show their pictures. There has to be a demand for it. There has to be a demand, because if some dudes weren't doing all that thirsty behavior and everything, shoot, they had to get regular jobs. Shit, they had to put in their application at McDonald's or something. But that's something that needs to be discussed too. But see, when we get in these official discussions, everybody want to get polite. Sometimes I like the social media platforms when somebody got a controversial video or something. At least we get the discussion out, but everybody gets shy once. It's like, all right, let's meet face to face. Let's get a panel going. Let's get some people where y'all gotta look each other in the eye. And it's just like nothing gets done. And, that's why we still having the same, quite frankly. I shared that book, Crises in Black Sexual Politics, a few videos ago. That's why we're having the same discussions we having since the 80s. Because nobody wants to be real in these things. And thus they're unproductive. So, something to think about. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.